Welcome back to another video on the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. If you haven't seen the first video, there's a link in the description below where we fixed this right fender. However, there was one more serious issue lingering with the transmission. Here is what's wrong.
The issue, every time you start it, you can engage neutral, you can engage comfort if you wanted, you can engage drive, and obviously park, but it will not engage reverse. Now, I bought it from Copart, and obviously the transmission, it just comes up as saying as a transmission fault, so it could have been a lottery, to be honest, but this is what we found. Obviously trying to get it off the trailer, we drove it on, well, it was forklifted on, tried to drive it off, and it just wasn't having it. So there's an issue with this, is what I suspect. I suspect that there's a connection or a faulty switch. So I'm going to show you now anyway, just what it looks like. So obviously put the key in, get it started. As you see, you have a look at the gauge here. So this is us engaging gears. First, come back over here, we can find drive, we can find neutral, but it will not find reverse.
We had to start by removing the ski slope, as it's known by Aston Martin. Now, this was a fairly simple task using some trim tools just to pop out 4 of the clips holding it in. Once that was out, I just had to disconnect the electric wires and the slope of the spring. I thought I would start off with trying to replace the reverse switch, in case that had just gone bad. I felt this was worth a shot as I'd managed to find a replacement online for just €30 from Europe.
As you can see here, these are the clips that are just holding it in. Now these do actually come out, so because this switch I believe is knackered, or at least I've got a perfectly working one coming, I'm actually just going to break this off and so we can get the switch out, because I don't really need to preserve it. I do believe that the switch is faulty. So we're just actually going to lift under it and then just going to apply it away like that, and then that's it loose. Here we go. So I put in the new reverse switch and connected it all up, and this was the result.
As you can tell by my frustration here though, with a new reverse switch in and fitted, the issue remained.
Okay, well, as you saw, the €30 fix or the change of reverse switch did not help at all. So unfortunately there's a greater problem going on. Imagine perhaps to do with the wiring harness, I'm not too sure, but I've conceded. I've bought a Foxwell scanner that should be able to read the fault codes for the Aston, so I'm hoping it should be able to tell me what the actual issue is. So I've just got it, arrived yesterday, I've got the software installed, here it is. So now it's just a case of plugging it in.
I plugged the code reader in, and whilst it brought up several fault codes, I opted to focus on the one stating communication had been lost with the brake control module, as you can see here. I reached out to some forums online for some guidance.
So admittedly with this transmission issue, I've reached out on some Facebook groups for the Vantage, Vantage owners I guess, sending some of the fault codes over, just seeing what they suggest doing, and one guy was sent a very helpful response. He basically suggested that I check the connections from the transmission, to the transmission control module, which I'm going to do. In another forum I read, they reckon that the actual control module itself very, very rarely fails, and it's almost always to do with the wiring. So we could be onto something here. So we're going to have a quick look. Let me show you where it is. So as you can see, we're in boot here. And basically we've got the fuse box here, and then it's this bit here. That's your transmission control module, this silver thing here. So we're going to have to take the fuse box out, I think, just to give us a bit better access. And then we're going to take that transmission control module out and just check the wiring on it and check that's all okay, no broken wires or connector space or anything like that. So let's cut to it.
Now, it was incredibly awkward to try and get the fuse box out with these 3 bolts, one of them being actually underneath the fuse box and buried amongst the connectors. So what I had to do was remove the connectors, and slowly but surely, quarter turn at a time, I was able to free that bolt. With the fuse box removed though, it was easy to access the transmission control module.
Yeah, just a few swear words later, we have the control module, which is free now. Obviously you've got the 2 ports here, and then we've got the wires as well, or the sort of connection points. We'll have to check out as well, see if we're getting power to these okay. On the front of it, it looks okay.
And to cut a long story short, they were unfortunately okay after further inspection.
So rather interestingly, I just had a friend around, I was just showing him the car, and I was showing him the damage down here. And interestingly, we've just stumbled across something. It's right here, if you have a look, let's see if I can get a better view of that. The wires are actually broken off. Can't even see them there. See if I can get a better photo for you now. And as you can see from this photo, the wires were completely broken. So I ordered myself a crimping kit, and we'll cut to when that arrived. Well, it's absolutely pissing it down today, but that's not going to detract from my mood at all, because we finally have our electric equipment here to redo this wiring on the ABS system. So I'm so excited now. I've got really good faith or good confidence that this is going to work now. This is sort of my logic. So the minute when you press the reverse switch, it's not set up now, but normally when you press the reverse, it feeds down into the transmission control module, which basically says, okay, I need to make a gear change. We need to go into such a gear. Now what it's going to do is it's going to report to it's going to check the signal from all 4 wheel speed sensors, which are these things down here. There you go, the wheel speed sensor. And what it's obviously noticing is that there's a connection issue here because the wire's broken. So without being sure what speed this wheel is going, it's probably putting the engine into like a sort of safety mode and not allowing it to go into reverse, because I don't know if you've tried it before, but if you've ever tried to go into reverse when you're still moving forward, it crunches and can cause really bad damage. So I've got a feeling once we've got this connected and wired up properly, we should get reverse once all the codes have been cleared. Let's do it!
I used my crimp tools to expose the copper wires and use a connector to re-establish the connection between the wires. Once in position, I used the crimper to press down on the wires as hard as I could so they wouldn't fall out and disrupt the connection again.
So in the meantime, I've just tidied these up a little bit. I'll go over it more thoroughly if it works, but I just don't want to completely seal it. Some proper insulation tape and seal it up that way. But for now, once it's sharp, we'll just cover it up, and some confidence it's going to work.
Actually, before we give it a try, I'm actually just going to reset the fault codes. Just give it the best chance of working. So reset the fault codes and then we'll go.
With the car charged and faults cleared, it was showtime. See if the car would now select reverse.
Okie dokie. It's actually got reverse!
And yes, we had done it. We had fixed the transmission issue by repairing the broken wires at the wheel speed sensor. Honestly, I couldn't believe I'd managed to resolve this myself, having never worked on cars until setting up this channel. Seeing that reverse light go on was just such an empowering moment.
So now we just got to put it all back together, and then we pretty much got a running Aston.
It feels good, man. It feels good, right? Right. Yo, I'm in the light at the end of the tunnel. Paper stacks, yeah, I got them in the bundles. Harry Potter breaking bread with the muggles. They said I wouldn't make it, now they looking puzzled. They said I wouldn't take it, I would go and hustle. Get the bag, it ain't never getting fumbled. In the jack, but we came up from the bottom. Through the cracks, let the light pour in. Have a blast, got the drinks pouring. Take a risk like it's a short thing. Going in, yeah, I'm going all in. Getting flued out, yeah, you can bring a friend. Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in your toes. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, yeah. Dive right in, let's go.
Now what I didn't show earlier was me dismantling the whole of the ski slope so I could inspect the wiring looms behind it. To do this, I had to remove the armrest to get access to this, and it was basically the reverse process of what you're seeing now. To reconnect it all again, I had to connect the infotainment and climate control area before reconnecting the armrest part.
It's done. She is done. Whew. So that brings us to the end of the video, but it's been a long day. But I'm really, really happy that we've fixed this now. It seems to be driving absolutely fine. I've just done a little quick drive around the block, little clip now. But it's been great, to be honest. There is one engine management light, which is just for the emission service being required. But other than that, there's no faults left on the dash. There's a P1000 fault, which basically means it's not had enough time to sort of complete its checks. And the only way to clear that is actually just to drive it. So other than that, we are looking very good, and I'm very happy with it. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then subscribe. Give us a like as well. We do potentially have a sister or a brother of this car coming to the channel very, very soon as well, which I'm super excited about. It's been my motivation to get this one done so I can focus on the other one when that comes. But you're going to have to stay tuned for that. So anyway, thank you and take care. Bye-bye.